Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Soul Mechanic TV. I'm your host, Mike Arend, and my hope is that together we can shine our collective lights on the world and make it a better place to live. Not only for us, but for our children and all future generations as well. Now every week we'll not only cover topics that I feel are important, but topics you feel are important too, because this is going to be an interactive show, so I want to tackle the subjects and topics that you're struggling with, because chances are there are a whole bunch of other people out there too that are going through the exact same thing. And really, let's face it, many of us have identical issues or problems, so let's deal with them. Letting them fester only leads to broken spirits, broken relationships, broken homes, and all sorts of sickness and disease. So to let me know of a topic you'd like to discuss, just hop on over to my website at mikearend.com, that's MikeArend.com, or email me directly at mike@mikearend.com. Now the time has come to step forward and make a difference. And I don't mean just posting or sharing on Facebook or Twitter. That's a start, and I still do it too, but we can't limit ourselves to just clicking the mouse and then moving on as if all the crap going on in there in the world is someone else's problem. It's my problem. It's your problem. It's everyone's collective problem. But where do we start? And what could we possibly do to solve any of the world's problems? Well, to that I say you can do a lot. In fact, much more than you know. First of all, we can't just start going around telling others what to do. That doesn't work. Look where it's got us so far. But what we can do, however, is to be a living example for, first of all, ourselves, then our family, friends, co-workers, strangers we meet, and everyone you encounter. But simply being who you truly are, a divine soul, a piece of God, and moving through life with compassion, kindness, and empathy, you will make a huge difference in the world. Not only for yourself, but for everyone else and every life you touch as well. Now we're going to be talking a little bit about everything here on Soul Mechanic TV, but we'll focus mainly on our souls. Your soul, my soul, and everyone's soul, because together we are a collective soul. We are all one because we all came from the same source. If I were to cut a piece of pie and give it to you and ask you what it was like, you'd probably say it's just like the pie I cut it from. Because it has to be. It came from the same source. If I went down to the ocean and filled a bucket with water from the ocean and then came home and put the bucket on my porch, is that water the same as it was in the ocean? Of course it is. It's just smaller and therefore has lost a lot of its power. And the same thing goes for you and me. Now the ocean is mighty, in fact the strongest force on the planet, but put it in a bucket and it can't do much from there, can it? Now if we let the bucket stand there on the porch long enough though, the water will change state, form into a gas and go off to form some clouds, where it will eventually condense back into water again and become part of the ocean once more. And while it's together with all the other gas molecules and then the other water molecules, it once again has tremendous power, doesn't it? Just like you and I will have when we shine our collective lights on the world. Now some of you know my story already, but since many of you don't, I'll give you a condensed version of it here. I had a great childhood, growing up with loving parents, never wanting for anything. Now, we weren't rich by any means, at least not monetarily, but we were able to enjoy a relatively comfortable middle-class upbringing. My parents both worked and constantly tried to improve both themselves and the environment we grew up in. In other words, your typical hardworking middle-class family. I finished high school. I took mechanical engineering in college. Now, not with the best grades, mind you, but we won't go into that here. I married my high school sweetheart. I joined the Navy as a Marine engineer. We moved out to the West Coast and we had 2 beautiful boys. After I got out of the Navy, I moved from job to job, working as both a millwright and a power engineer. But I was never really satisfied and always knew there was something more out there. I just didn't know what. So eventually, after workplace injury, I could no longer work in the trade, so I had to reinvent myself, and I became a realtor. And that's where my journey to awakening really began. It was while I was in this new vocation that I attended a seminar that changed my life. The speaker, he talked about becoming authentic and integrity-powered leadership, not just of others, but of self, leadership of self. And he recommended lots of books to read, and so I did. Now, all of this was drastically changing my attitude towards not only myself and my work, but towards others as well. I knew I was changing for the better and invited my then wife to come along with me on this incredible ride I was on. Unfortunately, she decided none of that was for her, and in the end, we separated, just 1 month shy of our 26th anniversary. I thought I'd be fine, she'd be fine, the kids would be fine, but nothing was fine anymore. In fact, I was about to get a whole lot worse. In fairly quick succession, first my dad passed away from a long, drawn-out, excruciating battle with lung cancer, and then my mom followed him a few years later, dying from the same horrible disease. I still vividly remember having to make the heart-wrenching decision to unplug her from life support. And not long after that, my faithful dog, Kayla, passed away as well. And to top things off, while all this was going on, I couldn't continue in real estate. My mind was never on my work, and I began becoming depressed. My wife, for all intents and purposes, hated my guts. My kids, although we remained in contact, seemed disinterested, and I had a mountain of debt, which with next to no income, forced me to declare personal bankruptcy. For a brief moment, I thought I found something in another relationship, but then she left me too. I was so confused. I went from comfortably earning 6 figures to $10.25 an hour washing cars at a local dealership. I just couldn't get my head screwed on straight. I began to slip even further into my depression, and I started wondering that perhaps the world would be a better place without me. Now, these latest thoughts scared the living crap out of me and prodded me into remembering the place I was at before all this happened. And if I was there before, why couldn't I get there again? So I started reading all the spiritual self-help books I could get my hands on and started a meditation practice as well. And although I was still making very little money, I entered into one of the happiest times in recent memory. Finally, I was able to secure better employment, and things started looking up. I began visualizing what my future would look like, sharing a life with someone that had the same values and morals that I had, living in a waterfront home with nature, and helping others overcome their difficulties too. And through the magic of the universe and thoughts become things, all my dreams started to come true. I now live in a beautiful waterfront home, close to nature, complete with boat and garage to house our new cars. My wife is an incredibly gifted and intuitive soul that continues to surprise me every day. My relationship with my children has been restored, and last but not least, we have a new dog. And in just a few short years, I went from scared, broke, and alone to confident, thriving, and arriving. But not only had I arrived, I was flourishing. I was flourishing because I began to help others. I had discovered that giving starts the receiving process. If I wanted something, all I had to do was give it to someone else first. That's the quickest way to receive anything you want in life. Give exactly what you want to someone else first. Then thank the universe in advance for what you are about to receive. This principle has never failed me, and it's part of the grand process of all of life. And this grand process, how everything works, is just one of the topics we'll cover here on Soul Mechanic TV. I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can contact me at my website, mikearend.com, or by email directly at mike@mikearend.com, and both addresses should be found right below this video. As always, I send you love, happiness, and abundance. But before you leave, please take a moment to leave me a comment below Tell me what you liked or didn't like, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, be the difference maker in someone else's life today. Bye for now.